circumambulating the temple, there was a light that was necessary at nighttime. Otherwise, I think it was in that corner where you go around the temple and you have to kind of duck under. And Prabhupada was saying, I am seeing, but you are not seeing. And the devotee said, what? It is after the sun has risen and this light is on. These are just so many interesting examples. Or he told Bhavananda Prabhu, who at the time was the leader of the Mayapur project, that there were banana trees on the property and that they were drying up. And he said, everyone in the temple, you are meant to see that they are given food, including the plants. His food is water. You must water these banana plants. And Prabhupada has assured us, and it is very good common sense, that this is Krishna consciousness, to notice these things. Like here, if we come down the stairs and we see that the front doors are wide open and there's nobody in sight, what should we think to do? I'll open it up to interchange. Who could say what would be the right? I'll give you multiple choice. A, just walk by minding our own business and just forget about it. 2, put it on the group chat, the door is open, and then keep going. Or 3, close the doors and make sure that they're locked. What do we think? Or D, some of the above, E, none of the above, or all of the... Right.
You forgot one.
Which one?
On the camera system and see who left it open. That's
Okay, that might be an after effect.
what happened this morning. I saw the doors were open. I closed
Right.
it 12 months ago. He sat down and looked through the camera system. He saw who left it open.
Okay, well that's good, but I would say immediately, or maybe we could do it close the door and also look at the cameras if you have the ability. Anyway, so especially in New York City, where one must really have their wits about them, we can take, let's say, inspiration and reassurance that from a verse like this, discussion like this, that these things are not going to subtract from our attempt to be in constant rapt meditation on the form of Sri Sri Radha Govinda. Much to the contrary of such uninformed thinking, they're actually very much a part of achieving this ultimate goal of life that Prahlad Maharaj is describing. Even in this material world, a devotee does not see materially manifested things. Instead, he sees Govinda in everything. So, what is sadhana bhakti? That means devotional service in practice. So this is to be practiced also. Engaging in practical devotional service throughout our entire life, but this practical devotional service is simultaneously the highest form of devotional service, formed in complete internal meditation. And Srila Prabhupada set the example extraordinarily by being so much alert to so much incredible. He understood the pulse of all of his disciples. He understood the mindset, or that, let's say, the particular level of sincerity, contamination, of all different types of people. Prabhupada would say, because I am completely in Krishna consciousness, I'm not remembering exactly how he said in this context, that big scholars and theologians, people come to me, but I defeat them all very easily. And actually, Srila Prabhupada wanted that. Perhaps one of the most greedy of Srila Prabhupada's disciples for his association, Shyamasundar Prabhu, he openly admits it. We were greedy for Prabhupada's association. So after securing the Bhaktivedanta Manor as a donation from Shyamasundar's friend, George Harrison of the Beatles, Prabhupada spent 2 long and glorious months in the summertime, July and August 1973, at the newly opened Bhaktivedanta Manor, installing Sri Sri Radha Gokulananda there, and to entice, attract, and to please Srila Prabhupada, Shyamasundar arranged one after the other, politicians, celebrities, scholars, theologians, quote unquote, big people. So the pure devotee is not intimidated by someone's material qualifications. He wouldn't speak with reporters, thinking that I got to speak in such a way that I'll get this person to write, a praiseworthy, an article that praises me or praises Krishna consciousness. He would talk to that person like we'd talk to anyone else in such a way to help them become Krishna conscious, best possible way that they could on an individual case-by-case basis. Even in this material world, a devotee does not see materially manifested things. Instead, he sees Govinda in everything. And those who were less contaminated by Maya Prita Gyan and so many material desires, such as Srila Prabhupada's potential and perspective, and soon to be, by meeting him and his devotees and movement, his disciples, if not before meeting Srila Prabhupada, but definitely upon meeting Srila Prabhupada, they can understand that Prabhupada was their spiritual master, was the eternal guide and friend that they were seeking and waiting for life after life, that this great personality will never cheat me. Prabhupada said that of himself, of his own relationship with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. I knew he would never cheat me, and that's why he was worthy to surrender to. Or one Mataji, Prafulmukhi, she was the wife of Gaurhari Prabhu. She said in her memory that upon meeting Prabhupada, that I could understand how great his love was for me. And up until meeting him, I had never experienced love at any time in this world. Meeting him, I could understand what real love is. So by being very attentive and being very alert, simultaneously on the highest platform of devotional service. Our prayer to Srila Prabhupada, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale. It's not Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Goloka Vrindavan Iti Namane. Of course, Srila Prabhupada is in Goloka Vrindavan simultaneously, but we are glorifying him who on this earth. We're preparing the glorious 60th anniversary of ISKCON next summer, corresponding with our Rath Yatra, which will mark 50 years. And we're saying how important New York City is for so many reasons. Why? Because Srila Prabhupada walked and traveled all over this city. So we say the dust of his lotus feet is all over this place. It makes it a tirtha. So Srila Prabhupada, he is dear to Lord Krishna on this earth. So he is showing, one time Prabhupada was asked, how will you know who is the pure devotee, a pure devotee? He would say, Prabhupada said, he would be a perfect gentleman. Srila Prabhupada showed us how to be a perfect person in this world. which is simultaneously how to be a perfect person or pure devotee in the highest sphere of the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. When he sees a tree or a human being, a devotee sees them in relationship to Govinda. Govindam Adipursham Tamaham Bhajami. Govinda is the original source of everything. And after stating thus, like this, in this purport, Prabhupada, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. The test of a perfect devotee is that he sees Govinda everywhere in this universe, even in every atomic particle. That is the perfect vision of a devotee. A devotee sees everyone and everything in relationship with Narayan. Everything is an expansion of Narayan's energy, just as those who are greedy see everything as a source of money-making. Just as those who are lusty see everything as being conducive to sex. The most perfect devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, saw Narayan even within a stone column. This does not mean, however, that we must accept the words Charita Narayan, which have been manufactured by some unscrupulous person. One who actually envisions Narayan everywhere makes no distinction between the poor and the rich. And similarly, in today's purport, Prabhupada is pointing out the fallacy of Darwin's so-called theory of evolution and how it's erroneous because it doesn't take into account the 8,400,000 species of life are existing based on karma and desire. And people, what happens to you in your next life? Based on what you deserve and what you desire. You know, where can we go on vacation? Or which hotel can we stay in? Can we stay in the Hyatt Regency, or do we have to stay in the Motel 6? How much money do you have? How much money you have? How much you spent, or how much you saved previously? I remember when we used to do Sankirtan, we would always wait for Friday and Saturday. We'd go out on the parking lots Monday, got no money, I'm broke, payday is on Friday. And that it all relates back to you don't want to remain in the spiritual world, you want to try to enjoy independently. So Krishna, out of his kindness, creates this phantasmagoria world where Prabhupada says in one place, you can try your luck to become happy in this material world. So there are the 8,400,000 species of life, which is Krishna's mercy. Varieties of phenomena occur within this universe on account of the actions and reactions of the three material modes, but the original creator or cause is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is mentioned here as Nimitta Matram, the remote cause. Thank you very much. Nimitta Matram Tarasin Nirguna Purusharshaba Vyakta Vyaktam Idam Vishvam Yatra Brahmati Lohavat. My dear Dhruva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. He is the remote cause of the creation of this material cosmic manifestation. When he gives the impetus, many other forms and effects are produced, and thus the whole universe moves, just as iron moves by the integrated force of a magnet. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Narada Muni Prabhu. This is a microphone over here for our online virtual users.
Hare Krishna. I was thinking about what you were speaking in the beginning. I had another thought also, but it has disappeared into the ether. So you were speaking about how Dhruva Maharaj, by controlling his anger and overreaction, it was actually a glorious thing, like in contrast to the Bhagavad Gita where Arjuna had to actually keep fighting. And I was thinking about how it is that Dhruva Maharaj gave way to this anger. And I was thinking in my own spiritual life, it's so easy for me to hold grudges against people, and someone does something wrong to me, and it's so easy to just hold on to that for years and years on end even. And I'm just wondering if you can speak about how it is that we can actually, as Vaishnavas, learn to really see Krishna in the situation, and how to actually forgive others who we feel have wronged us in some way or another, because I feel it causes an inhibitance in my own spiritual progress by holding those grudges against other people.
Krishna is so great that he can give each and every individual a very clear path to the highest perfection. Now, in the material world, with mixed desires and motivations, we, so to speak, rub up against each other. We used to have a little poem for putting 4 men in a traveling Sankirtan van. 4 men in a tub, Cheto, Darpanam, Marginum. We're going to scrub off each other's false ego by, the having to live like that in the austerity. So, with devotees that we are, and Prabhupada even said, His Holiness Giriraj Swami, towards the very end of Prabhupada's presence, even Giriraj Swami says he was thinking this might be the last time that I get to see Srila Prabhupada. He's asking Srila Prabhupada, because many things were brought to Srila Prabhupada's attention, especially in the last year, in 1977. And Giriraj Swami said, "You're here now, Srila Prabhupada. What do we do if there's some argument or disagreement after you're gone and you're not here to settle it?" And Prabhupada spoke the immortal, "Your love for me will be shown by how you keep this movement together after I'm gone." And for Giriraj Swami particularly, and we could all take this personally, especially if we've been around a little bit, that you are one of the senior members of this movement. You should work towards the correction. Working towards the correction includes, or is foundationally based upon, keeping your sadhana, performing your, Prabhupada called it routine work, and understanding that Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, Lord Chaitanya is the Yuga avatar. That means he is the dearmost and specified, specific. You can have a relationship with Lord Ramachandra or Varaha Murti, it's open. But Lord Chaitanya is the most dear form of the Lord for every living entity in this entire universe during this Kali Yuga, and especially for the next 10,000 years. So anything that will interfere, jeopardize, threaten, minimize, eclipse, I think of more and more words, Lord Chaitanya, the dynamic vehicle that Srila Prabhupada has created in service to Lord Chaitanya's movement, no matter whatever it is, we want to, at least individually, I can't control what others do or not do, but I can control myself, that I'm going to stick to this principle. What is that saying that they have? Come hell or high water, right? And what happens if you do that? I can speak from personal experience. You'll become enriched in knowledge and realization. You will feel good that you did that. Why does a devotee feel good? A devotee feels good because Krishna is pleased with him. Right? Srila Prabhupada impressed upon us so much that this Krishna consciousness movement is the only hope for humanity and for all living entities. So keeping that in mind, or trying to understand the severe importance of that, everything else comes into perspective. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Right? What is that verse in the Bible? We're advised against retribution. The Lord says, vengeance is mine alone. Or Krishna will sort everybody out in due course of time. Again, like practice, it might sting and might hurt at the time, but keep with the routine program. The routine program is to be a devotee every day. What happens if you don't chant your 16 rounds in a given day? Your mind and consciousness turns into mush, right? We don't want our mind and consciousness to... So we keep up our Krishna consciousness. One time, Ravindra Svarupa Prabhu, maybe Balavanta was present, they were asking Srila Prabhupada, what is required to ultimately capture or to have devotees in government so they actually have the power to institute proper policies for everyone's benefit and upliftment. And what did Prabhupada say? 4 regulative principles and 16 rounds. And the devotees were, that's it? That's all. Prabhupada affirmed it. Is that all right? Okay. Yes, Archita Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you for a very hard-hitting presentation as usual. Lots to think about. But I think Narad Muni's question could probably deserve a little more discussion. My advice would be 2 things. Who is it that you feel offended by? What level are they on in relation to you? Are they, on a higher level, same level, or lower level? If somebody's on a higher level,
It's kind of like an echo,
yeah, you need to bring the volume down just a little bit on this mic. So if somebody's on a higher level, Prabhupada gives the example of a child and a parent. The child knows that the parents have my best interest in heart. So even if they smack me, I don't take it. How many of us here have been chastised by our parents when we were growing up? Do you hate them or? No, it was for your good. You realize that eventually. It's for your good. Don't keep a grudge against your parents, although some people do. They even want to sue their parents. But most of us, we know, whatever chastisement we got when we were growing up from the parents or other elders was for our good. So you have to look at that first. If this devotee that you're interacting with, are they on a superior level? And you take it in that mood. If they're on the same level, then you hash it out. If somebody's your peer, you hash it out. You don't hate each other, but you have some disagreement. You hash it out. And if somebody's on a lower level, then you understand. It's just ignorance. They're reacting this way because they're ignorant. And Prabhupada said the perfect example as usual. Once when he was in Canada, I forget whether it was Toronto or Montreal, but it was Canada. And this Indian man, came to see Prabhupada. And the discussion went on late in the evening, and the man was actually attacking Prabhupada. And the devotees couldn't wait to throw him out. And Prabhupada and he saw that, so he kept indicating, be quiet, And after the person left, Prabhupada said, did you get his contact information? And the devotees were shocked. What do you mean? We're glad this guy's gone. He was attacking you, Prabhupada. He said, no, maybe I offended him in a previous life. That was Prabhupada's take on the situation. So we always have to see spiritually, transcendentally, not just on the material plane that this person's insulting me and I feel bad. And is that okay? Hare Krishna.
I just thought of a memory of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, who is the first devotee of Indian descent who, when Prabhupada was preaching in the West, became his disciples. So this is a story from Montreal in 1968. There was one Bengali man who became favorable to the devotees and to Srila Prabhupada, seemingly favorable. And he accompanied Prabhupada and his disciples to speak at a church or a Christian school or seminary. And in the middle of the presentation, this man got up and just interrupted Prabhupada and said, why are you, this is their religion. Why are you coming here to try to convert them? You should leave them alone. He was like being really offensive. And the devotees were like, ready to pounce on the guy, and Prabhupada restrained him. And then later, Prabhupada was leaving Montreal. It was a considerable time, and he asked Gopal Krishna Maharaj to call this gentleman, this person. And Gopal Krishna Maharaj was like, but Prabhupada, he was so offensive to you, and this and that. And Prabhupada said, I must have done something to him in my last life, and that therefore this happened. Another incident, I don't think it was Mr. Patel, maybe it was, on walks in Juhu Beach. No, I think it was someone, either him or someone like him, and he became very offensive to Srila Prabhupada on the walk because of Prabhupada's, chastising certain Mayavadi gurus. And Prabhupada, he came back from the walk on Juhu Beach, and there was Guru Puja in the makeshift temple. You see pictures, Prabhupada is sitting on a red Vyasasan with a big circle behind it. And this man had been feeling really, it got to him, boy, I really made an offense. And he came and offered flowers to Prabhupada and just put his head on Prabhupada's feet and just started bawling and crying just like a baby. And Prabhupada just put his hands down and was rubbing his head and neck and saying, that's all right, don't worry, it's okay. So, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Radha Govinda Devi ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Haribol. Hare Krishna, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripasindhubhyevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnava.
Can I ask another question?
Is the TV off?
Yeah. Wait, no, it's not.
Is this off? Why didn't you let me get up first?
Okay, sorry.